So I don't know how many of you watched Mick Mulvaney's uh, lying stump speech on national television, and how he explained that Trump had basically said to him, do whatever you have to do to make sure that business and finances aren't strangled, and that it's to make sure that people have access to money. So he said it's targeted to working people and middle class. But uh, that is not the responsibility of this Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, because one, and this is the major glaring inconsistency with his propaganda speech and his outright lie, is that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, as so many of us know, is there to protect us from the criminal villainy of the corporations and the wealthy people like the Koch brothers and the Mercers and the DeVosses and the Princes and uh, and the Buffetts. Hey, no, leave it, and all those. So the point is, it's was geared towards Wall Street banks like Wells Fargo. It was geared towards companies like Dow, Walmart. Uh, you get the picture. These big multinational who seem to have decided that they can just do whatever they want, and you know, you see the wording on the broadcast about all these uh, actual crimes being committed by, let's say, Wells Fargo, who's had, uh, even beyond the three strikes rule. Uh, and just in last year and a half, they have four against him that's come out to the public. So Mulvaney talking about what Trump told him in that press briefing is a complete and utter lie. It's criminality, point blank criminality, and because the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with with your banks. If anything, bank or finances, because if anything, it's about the actual crimes of doing criminal cons against the people, just like Wells Fargo has been doing. And there's been four cases that have come into the public light. So between that and what Mulvaney has done in as the director, as the head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, is, and that's also a public record, and every other policies that he has done has been about making sure that the very people, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the companies and the corporations that they are supposed to monitor and bring and let's not confuse the situation. Suing companies is is uh, a non entity because it doesn't do any actual damage to them. Whether they pay $1 billion, but when you pay $1 billion out on fines because you've been found guilty, but you've made $200 billion, where where is the actual punishment? There isn't. So this is Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is might as well be tissue paper, because simple fact of the matter is there is no justice and there is no equivalency. In the old days, they had an old saying, snake oil salesman. And that's exactly what you have. But instead of having, instead of having just some Joe Blow doing this on a small scale, and he's making money by doing these snake oil salesman tactics. You now have people with this pseudo legitimacy by a system that has made it so that the criminals get control, and they have wrote legislation, laws, and they've gained control of media to influence. And they have started up these institutes like ALEC, like the Brookings Institute, like all these other think tanks, and even the ones that are now coming into the light, that are still viewed with some sort of credibility. The plain fact of the matter is that they have done things that plainly aren't, and those that are plainly not credible outweigh the actual credible stuff that they've put out. So Mulvaney is full of shit. Trump is full of shit. The Republicans are full of shit. The Democrats are full of shit. And even the independents are full of shit. So what you have is, in simple terms, the insane patients have control of the insane asylum. That's exactly what it is. And so we have to start being able to process what's being said on media by our elected officials and the media personalities, which they call pundits and all this other stuff. But let's not forget that they are all criminals, and they are all working together to gland-hand each other and give themselves status and legitimacy, when what they really are just criminals.